Last time we talked about Gen AI and its effects on SEO strategies. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about how Google Ads and its fully automated solutions are changing the landscape of marketing technology and how advertisers are using these solutions for their benefits. In today's conversation, we have Karthik with us, who is one of the senior leads at Merkle Sokrati. Thanks, Karthik, for joining us today. So in today's conversation, we are going to talk about how Google Ads have been evolving over the period of time, and especially we're going to touch base upon how automation has changed the Google Ads ecosystem. So the first thing first, Karthik, my first question to you is, how Google Ads ecosystem with its automation and machine learning has evolved over a period of time. What was it earlier, what is it right now, and where do you think it will lead?
Got it. All right, so thanks Akshay, thanks for having me first place. Automation is all the buzz right now. AI, automation, ML, everything, It's all the buzz right now. So we started off, like, when we speak about Google Ads specifically, right? See, I started off working on Google Ads 6.5, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
When we were there, the automation part of Google Ads was all about bidding strategies. It started off with bidding strategy. They've given, moving from manual CPC to maximize clicks, then came your maximize conversions, then not even maximize conversions, then came TCPAs, and then came max conversions and all these. So these were how we started off with, or we got the flavor of automation in the first place. And then slowly the automated campaigns came into the picture. You had your smart campaigns, that is your smart displays, then your shopping campaigns, which were kind of automated because all you had to give was feed. And then you had your UAC, universal app campaigns, they have been automated all the while. So essentially how, the way they were progressing was aspects of it, bidding strategies, then whole campaign types. Now all multiple campaign types now being collaborated or integrated into one. That is, for example, your PMAX. And then the future that is coming up is your demand gen campaigns, where, they're combining all your discovery campaigns and all the discovery inventory into demand gen. So, Google Ads slowly is moving towards that automation phase wherein, it wants to be in a place where one campaign does everything for you. That's how I've seen Google Ads evolve over the past 6-7 years.
So how these automated campaigns are faring for you? I mean, there has been a habit that, you do a lot of data crunching, pulling out data from your manual campaigns, and a lot of efforts were getting put into doing those analysis, doing those number crunches, giving that feedback to the campaigns and optimizing the campaigns on a regular basis. Now that process has completely changed into an automation, right? Or an automated process has evolved, like UAC, right? When UAC got introduced, I mean, the whole landscape got changed, and especially for a new time advertiser, it was very easy to launch a campaign if they have an app. Right, and it was getting managed with only a couple of clicks. And I think same is happening for PMAX campaigns. Now, since the onboarding process has gone easy for an advertiser, right? But do you think that these automated campaigns are giving you the equal or a better output, so to say?
I wouldn't call it. It's not. Yeah, as you said, setting up is easy. Aligned on that piece, where earlier you had to give multiple inputs to set up a campaign, where you had to put in all the details about budgets, bidding strategies, your creatives, your targeting setup. You had to give audiences, let's say keywords, everything. So that has, the automated campaigns have made it easy in terms of launching and going live. But the work is not done just by launching it, right? The majority of your work goes in optimizing things.
Right.
Earlier, we need to keep evolving. Earlier, the optimizing thing, let's say if it was search campaign, you had to look at search terms and you need to add them as negatives or pause your keywords depending on whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. That is still there. But then when you keep adding in additional layers such as PMAX, your USC campaigns, direct levels of optimization are limited. But then once again, we need to ensure that there's always this concept, right? Show your ads at the right time, to the right person, at the right place.
Right.
Yeah. So this concept still is applicable, and that for you to hit that concept of right time, right place, and right ad or right message, you always still have to ensure that your targeting is set up properly. And then once again, even if your targeting is set up properly, you need to ensure that it keeps optimizing so that you're reaching out to the person again, or rather in a different way.
Right.
So let's say for PMAX, for example, PMAX, obviously you're setting it up, you're letting it run. But in the end, the inputs that you give in terms of your audience signals, if you don't give the right audience signal, it doesn't work well. And if you don't give it the proper feed setup, it doesn't work well if it's a feed based one. And if you don't give it proper creatives in terms of your images, headlines or description, it doesn't work well. And then once again, this is all while setting up. After setting it up, you always need to constantly monitor what is the trends that you keep getting. So one thing that people usually I see missing out on PMAX is they assume there's nothing visible. No, there's a lot of data that you get from PMAX as well. You can calculate what is the feed level spends, what are the network level spends depending on Google owned and operated and display network. You can verify all of that. So in the end, you need to ensure that it is done in the right ways. And for UAC, coming to UAC, you need to ensure the network level split. So obviously you cannot always keep serving on display and keep ignoring, or rather the same, the vice versa. Like you cannot always keep serving on search and keep ignoring display and video networks, right? So you need to ensure that you have the right set of messagings and then creatives and then your text assets and then your app store optimization as well has to be in place so that you're targeting the right users and reaching to them in the right place. Moreover, adding on to this, right, as a conclusive point, UAC, if you've heard of what is coming up, UAC has come up with something called as audience signals. It's no longer just one way, because Google as well, I wouldn't say they've actively accepted it, but they know that there's some struggle reaching out to the right person, right? So they were like, you give us signals in terms of who would be the right user for you, and then we'll go target.
So the learning would be faster.
Yeah, so that's all there. So that's where we come in and we get everything in place. After getting everything in place, we ensure that they are in the right place and they're following the right path, sort of a thing.
So the ways of working has changed.
Oh, yes.
Right. So can you give us some specific examples how Google Ads automation or ML we have been implementing that for our clients? Has there been any successful use cases, and have you kind of figured out whether any advertiser can completely shift to this fully automated bidding strategies / fully automated campaigns?
So I'll give you, there's two ways of looking at it. So one is you have your entire fully automated campaign, and then there's your bidding strategy. So I'll give you examples for both of them. So, and we do have success stories for both of them. One of them was we recently worked with a BFSI client, and we moved to, Google is now pushing a lot on broad match, right? So broad match is something which they want to go and obviously pair your broad match with automated bidding, that is your value-based biddings. So for that, you need to have a huge or heavy tech setup. You need to ensure that the right data is flowing back into the system, all of that. So we ensured first that is, so earlier this was not the case, because earlier, just to give you the contrast between what it was earlier and what it is right now. Earlier, all you had to do for BFSI clients is have a huge bunch or huge set of keywords, run it in the mid-phrase match, broad match, whatever you're comfortable with, and keep working on your negative keywords, keep adding them, keep reducing your CPCs or increasing your CPCs basis the keywords performance, and then keep changing your ads. All of that was there.
Right.
Now, what we've done with broad match adoption, right? You don't have to give in like that hundreds and hundreds of keywords. You just have to give in 30, 40 base keywords, which are, which capture the entire theme of those. And we given those keywords, and then we've obviously paired it up with value-based biddings and automated biddings. We've used TCPAs, and we've also used value-based biddings in terms of TROAS and all. That is, if you're passing the user value, that is what the conversion value that we speak of. So we've set up enhanced conversions. We've been passing data back to Google Ads. And then once we did this, obviously the process of adding negative keywords is not gone yet, but the process of changing bids, looking at keyword pausing is out of the picture.
Right.
So the way we were looking at was more in terms of editing targets, that is your target CPA or target ROAS, whatever it is, and then adding negative keywords. That always remain the same. And moreover, what we've done is, see, we're not working with thousands of keywords. So that went out of the picture again. And now we were looking at ensuring that the tech setup, that the data flow is consistently set up, because earlier tech setup is not that important, or it was important, but it was not of utmost priority, wherein you're checking it every other day and ensuring that the data is flowing back correctly or not. Even if the data was not flowing back, it was good enough because you're showing up for the searches.
Managing it manually. Yeah.
But here we need to ensure that the tech setup is done properly as well.
So this tech setup, do you think it's a barrier to entry if any advertiser wants to run automated campaigns?
Yes, barrier to entry, yes, because what happens is whenever we speak of data flowing back into Google, people automatically assume, oh, this is my company level data, why should I share it with Google? Or this is my customers' data, why should I share it with Google? That's the biggest conception that happens. But ideally, there is, obviously Google is clever to that, and they've set up barriers in place and, fail safes, we call them fail safes, in place to ensure that no PII, that is a personally identifiable information, is shared back to Google. So all data, whatever you share to Google, is shared in form of a hashed algorithm, SHA-256 to be exact. That is the algorithm that they use. And even if you want to, by mistake, or even if you upload PII data, Google automatically denies it, say, hey, this data is not acceptable. Or else, if you want, use SHA-256 and upload it. So we are educating our clients, but still there's that, entry level barriers wherein people are hesitant to, link their data with Google Ads and all that.
Okay. But then if there is a barrier to entry, ease of getting it done, is it there? And as an agency, how do we support our clients to get it done? Because that's the future, right? Automated campaigns. So how do you go about it?
All right. So in this, the barrier piece, right? So what we do is we usually work with Google here. So this is where some of our work shines through with Google specifically because we partnered up with Google. As you know, we are premier partners of Google, right?
Yes.
So we've done work with them. We work with them, and essentially Google refers us as well. So let's say if some client wants to work in terms of setting up data integration, we call it data integration. That is, if they want to flow CRM level data back into Google Ads to optimize for lower funnel, where there's an offline event which is involved. Like for example, in the process of loan taking, obviously you apply for a loan online, might be online, everything, but then the video KYC process happens. There's a break, right?
Right.
So that after that break, the data is not flowing back.
Right.
So that is where we come in and we help advertisers get that data back in, because see, their CRM is always set up to track where the user is coming from. Right, this is the source. Let's say Google Ads was a source for this lead, and then this lead, this is basically lead disposition, we call it.
Right.
They've gone on to the second step, the third step, or the fourth step, and they've dropped off at the fourth step. So that is something which we help ensure that that data of disposition is flowing back into Google through data integration setup that we have going on. And that is essentially, we have two ways of doing it. That is enhanced conversions through web, and there's enhanced conversions offline, that is through data import. One is direct CRM connection, where we can use APIs to directly link your CRM and get the data automatically, or else we can do offline conversion import setup as well, wherein all you have to do is just you get the dump from your CRM and you upload it into Google Ads. So we help with both those processes.
Got it.
Perfect. And see, adding on, so as I was going back to my initial conversation, this is for people with automated bidding. But for people who are looking for all automated campaigns, right? So that automated campaigns, that's your PMAX. So that involves another entirely different way of operating, because here you still have those manual setups of keywords and all this. But in PMAX, it's no longer, it's more to do with setting it up properly, setting it up for success itself.
So is it set up and forget, or is it still like you have to maintain it?
Forget, it is, I wouldn't call it forget, they're still set up, and then you just optimize. Because here the optimization is once again to do with setup. That's the challenge here. So whatever optimizations that you're doing, it's not small tweaks that you're doing. It's once again, you're going back into the campaign, the way the campaign is set up, that's what you're tweaking. So let's say you've set up a PMAX campaign. It's not working well for you. You see it's not working. So then what you need to do is you need to go assess what sort of keyword themes is the campaign targeting, where is the campaign serving. Depending on what it is, let's say if it's a feed-based campaign, you need to check what is the percentage of spends between feed and non-feed, that is spends that you're getting. And then you need to assess, because I'm obviously feeds are related to e-com. I'm an e-com client, I would rather have majority of my spends on feed, but that's not what it is happening. That means something's wrong with my feed. So I need to go change the setup of my feed.
Got it.
And that is where, you know, our work comes in. Hey, we are the ones who identify that this is where the challenge is, and this is what you can do. This is what needs to be done. And at times we implement those changes and ensure that it is set up for success. For non-feed based, just to give you more context, right? What we can do is we do with audience signals, your keyword inputs, and the assessment that we do would be at the insights level, where we check the search term trends and the cost that is coming in, and also the placement level analysis that we do for PMAX. So we do all of this, and we have scripts which get us where your ad has been shown for PMAX campaigns and all. We use those to identify what is the majority of serving that is happening, and we do other optimizations.
Got it. So in Center of Excellence team, right, we have developed vertical-wise playbooks.
Yep.
Right. So a playbook for BFSI, playbook for e-com, playbook for OTT. Now these playbooks addresses campaign structure, best practices in terms of campaign structure, how do you set up the campaigns, do's and don'ts, new betas which are applicable for that vertical and category, A/B tests that can be done. Now all of this essentially is a part of strategy. Do you think that, you know, fully automated campaigns coming into picture is you have to spend more time into strategy now than spending time setting up the campaigns or doing that execution?
Yeah, so that's what's happening, right? So if you remember, you know, like when you were working and when I was working, when we started off, right? 4 years ago or 5 years ago, your majority of your time was on the dashboard, Google Ads dashboard. Majority of your time you're looking at the reports, you're looking at what changes you can be doing, what tweaks you can be doing to your bids or your campaigns or whatever. Right now, it's more to do with how can you set it up? Where is it showing up? How is it showing up? You know, we're doing a lot more analysis. That is, you're getting a lot more data, you're crunching the numbers, you're looking at the data, the setup, the way, as you mentioned, right? The way you look at in terms of strategy. So how that is essentially the way you set up your campaign. So you're looking at all those different factors instead of just looking at what can be done to just fix whatever it is. So yeah, obviously strategy and analysis is what takes up majority of your time instead of execution right now, is what I would call it.
Understood. So setting up is getting automated.
Yeah.
Optimizing is getting automated, or it is already automated.
Yeah.
Right. Monitoring is also almost automated. In one thing in this, right?
Yeah.
In setting up, one thing remains constant is how do you want to communicate your message, right?
Yep.
And I feel personally, communication or passing on that message can't be automated. I'm talking about creatives here.
Yeah.
Do you think that Google Ads is coming up with technology or features which are assisting us develop ad creatives automatically, or it's using machine learning to help us communicate better through our ads?
Yeah. This goes back to the point that I mentioned, right? Getting the right message across as well. And one message which might work for you might not work with me. It might not resonate with me. So Google obviously noticed that, you know, and it wants to be as unique as possible to the users' interests and behaviors.
Right.
So that's where obviously it already had a couple of automated solutions with DSAs, your customizers, ad customizers, that is your keyword insertions and all. But it felt that there's a need to go further. And obviously with AI coming in, we've kind of have something there, but it's not yet out in the open because it's something which is still in the testing phase. And luckily for us, we got a slice, you know, we got a taste of that size, wherein we work with one of our BFSI clients to incorporate Google's AI, that is BART, into messaging, that is directly into our creatives, where a different or a unique creative was served to an individual basis there, inputs or basis there, interactions. So we've used that and it has yielded wonderful effects for us. And unfortunately, I'm not able to disclose a lot about it because it's still not yet published. But once it is published, I'm sure you'll be able to see all about what has been done. But there is AI-based solutions for creatives as well, which are going to coming in.
And the outcome is as good as you know you will create.
Yeah, outcome is better, right? Because obviously the more unique the message is to that individual and the more personal it is, there's a high likelihood of them converting. See, essentially this is all on intent based. So when you're able to capture that intent, then you're on the right way to go.
There are Gen AI tools available in the market. With prompts, the images get created, right? So some sort of technology I'm sure Google might come up with in future to integrate within Google Ads. Has it come yet? Do you think something similar to that will get added to Google Ads so that, you know, with couple of sentences as a prompt, you get the output of ad creative completely, and you use that ad creative to run your campaigns.
Google is not there yet. I'm assuming it might be working on it something internally. We might not know. But there are solutions which are there for creatives. Like for example, we work with Bumper Machine as one of the creative tool that Google has given to us. Wherein if you have like a 30 or a 40-second video, a longer length video, and you want to explode the short inventory, that is a 6-second inventory.
Right.
So you can use Bumper Machine to create those 6-second bits, and it is automated once again. All you have to do is give your larger video, and it goes ahead and gives you the 6-second video basis this, and then it gives you an option to add voiceover to videos as well. So there's all those options which are already present in Google Ads, but not to the level wherein just give a prompt and it'll automatically create a video for you.
Right.
But I'm sure it might be working on something internally, that is for sure, and I'm hoping that something of that sort will come in, but we are not there yet.
Understood.